I chose to title my remarks, An Inevitable Paradox, Establishing a Peaceable Habitation in a Violent World. Let me explain what I mean by inevitable paradox with an experience that I had years ago in one of my classes at Ricks College, now called BYU, Idaho. Before starting class on a Monday morning, I asked my students if anyone had engaged in any great weekend activity. Among the respondents was a young man who told me that he had had his dream date that weekend. Given the several oohs and ahs from the other students, and out of my own curiosity, I asked the student to elaborate. So he said that there was a young lady whom he had been wishing to invite on a date for 3 months, and that on that weekend he was finally able to realize his dream. So being even more curious, I asked him what they had done during their outing, and he replied rather proudly, "We had a great dinner, and after that we played paintball." There were some other oohs and ahs from the other students, but perhaps betraying an ever-expanding generational gap, I was pensive. So I asked him, "Let me see if I got this straight. You waited 3 months to ask the girl out, and when you finally did, you shot her?" He smiled and answered, "Oh, it was just paint." But I insisted, "Yes, but you pointed a paint gun at her and shot her, right?" He in turn insisted, "Yeah, but it was just for fun." When Dean Jeff Burrows extended the invitation to me to be the speaker at the Convocation this Jubilee year, I could not stop thinking about that dialogue I had years ago. For me, that experience was just a demonstration of that violence is so deeply ingrained in our nature that throughout history, some of our entertainment has always been violent. Like the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans and other ancient cultures, at the dawn of the 21st century, we also take pleasure in seeing heated arguments, dramatic explosions, fights, and even murders. Through state-of-the-art computer technology and virtual reality, one can even experience the adrenaline rush associated with killing someone without any subsequent remorse. However, it's not my intent to criticize or judge modern entertainment. I suppose all of us have heard enough about it. Instead, what I want to discuss is an apparent paradox related to peace. Now, peace is defined in dictionaries as a state of security or order provided by law or custom, free from conflict, confusion, disturbance, or harassment. Peace may also be defined as a state of harmony, mutual concord, and esteem in human relations, and also a mental condition free from disquieting or oppressive thoughts or emotions. In other words, we can describe peace as a state of general welfare and absence of conflict experienced when there is physical wholeness, emotional maturity, spiritual nourishment generated by harmony and order, having obedience to laws as a necessary condition for the existence of harmony and order. Observe the following biblical promise. "And the work of righteousness shall be peace, and the effect of righteousness, quietness and assurance forever. And my people shall dwell in a peaceable habitation, and in sure dwellings, and in quiet resting places." However, it seems that never in the recorded history of this world there has ever been worldwide lasting peace. It seems that whenever peaceful conditions existed, it was always on a regional scope and for a relatively short period of time. Sacred texts from many religious traditions, Christian or not, contain narratives of divine accomplishments filled with imagery related to war, battle, or conflict. Almost without exception, these texts acknowledge the existence of evil and the need to battle and ultimately defeat it in order to forever consolidate the supremacy of good. Texts sacred to Latter-day Saints confirm the biblical assertion that conflict has always been present in the history of the world. The narrative of the sacred history of the world begins and ends with wars, the war in heaven and the battle of Gog and Magog. If even in heaven there was war, on earth war may very well be unavoidable. So here's the nature of this apparent paradox. We all cherish peace and yearn for universal, permanent peace, but we seem unable to reach it for reasons apparently beyond our control. Is there a solution to this apparent paradox? I'm glad to say that we have good news in that respect. Consider these statements made by the Lord himself. "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. These things I have spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Believing these divine statements, let's now explore how we can help fulfill President David O. McKay's prophecy about each one of us being an influence towards the establishment of peace internationally. Now, I don't mean to establish a trivial distinction, but it so happens that I recall the words of the prophet Joseph Smith saying that the things that are written are only hints of things which existed in the prophet's mind. I have learned that the language and vocabulary of prophetic statements often contain layers of meaning that require careful inspection to be discovered. So, President McKay used the expression establishment of peace internationally. Notice that he did not say international peace. In my understanding, his inspired statement could imply the establishment of havens of peace in the midst of general turmoil. In fact, the revelations given to the prophet Joseph Smith suggest that this may very well be the condition of the world in our times. Elder Henry B. Eyring confirmed this idea when speaking to BYU Hawaii graduates 15 years ago. He stated, "We don't need to wait for a perfect world to be an influence for peace, nor do you have to be a prime minister, a member of parliament. You don't even have to be a leader at all. You can be the lowliest worker. You can lift your eyes and the eyes of those around you to principles of what is true and what is right. That will lift them above self-interest. It won't bring perfect peace, but conflict will become less and less around you, and you will feel moments of peace. And those moments may cause people to say, I wonder if there was a way to have peace like this all the time. I wonder if there will ever be a peace like this in all the world," close quote. So, how can we establish these havens of peace? In the time I have left, I would like to propose a few insights for your consideration. And I have divided these ideas into 3 sections: the influence of our religion, peace in our families, and the role of our university.